Hi, I'm Cinnamon Cooney, your art sherpa, and today I want to show you how you can create this gorgeous lilacs in a jar painting. Get your paint, get your brushes, get your Q-tips, because you can paint this. Let's go! Let's start this really fun project. I have a 9 by 12 canvas board that I painted black with black gesso, but you can use black paint. Over here I have acrylic paint. I have green, yellow, white, dark purple, a bright pink, and another little bit of white. I have bunches of Q-tips bundled together, some loose ones, and I have number 6 brights for acrylic painting. Let's go ahead and start putting this in. This is kids chalk that I just sharpened with a regular handheld sharpener. But listen, if you don't draw, don't worry about this, because I also have a traceable that you can get for free off my website, and tracing is okay. I'm going to be about 3 inches from the bottom of the canvas, and I'm going to make a little bit of a soft smile that's about, oh gosh, 4 inches across. And then I'm going to make a little matching frown. That's an easy way to get kind of an ellipse, and that's the top of my jar here. I'm going to do 2 straight lines down that are just a ½ inch long, and another little soft smile. Your jar should have shoulders, so I'm going to bring a little line out and a little line out, and then just straight down. And that's all it takes to get those in. I find it also helps to kind of sketch in my stems before I paint them, so that I know what the curves are. So I'm going to come up here to the upper right corner and sketch a stem down. And that's going to be one of my main showy flowers. So see, I've sketched the little stem down, and then I know where that goes. That's going to make things a lot easier on me. And this guy should have a little friend that comes and ends here. So let's come right here and just make a nice little bend. These types of flowers tend to have bends in their stems because they're so heavy with blooms. And curve another little bloom right there. And just for balance, I think I'd like another little one right here. So let's paint in the first part of the jar we have to paint in for the trick of making these stems look like they're inside glass. This is a really easy trick that anyone can do. Take a little bit of, take your number 6 Ruby Satin Bright, and you get a little paint, no water. I haven't put any water on my brush, on the edge of the bristles here. This is called dry brushing when your brush doesn't have any water on it. And you're going to just carefully over your tracing lines or your white chalk lines, sketch, this is light pressure, the opening of your jar. Then come down and make all these outer lines. Just sketch them. Just sketch them. This is what you're going to be doing. You're just going to be sketching these outer lines for your jar. Once you have those sketched, you can rinse out your brush. Come over here, get a little bit wet, drag off the extra water, get a little green, get a little yellow. See, it's on both sides of the brush. And this is going to be confusing at first, but trust me, I have a plan here. You're going to follow along your stems, leaving about, 3 inches at least at the edge for flowers to fill in. I'm going to grab a little yellow and come and paint in this fellow. There we go. A little yellow. Paint in that fellow. I'm just using the edge of my brush to create this line. Maybe on this one you get a little more green so it's a little darker, and that'll work okay too. Now, let's get a little of our green on our brush. See how it's on the edge there? And let's make a little line that comes off about 1 inch off our stem. And then make a nice diamond shape for the leaf. And just paint that right across, filling that all in with paint. You can get a little yellow if you want to. And come and add a little highlight with the yellow to make it very colorful. Alright, that's a nice little leaf. It should have a little friend down here. I don't even worry about sometimes putting in a stem, because maybe it's a stem that's really delicate and we wouldn't see it. See? Maybe another one right here. These are just the leaves that you would see. Let's come here, make a little stem, and again your little diamond shape. Just little leafies. You can add a little bright yellow highlight to make that more interesting. You even have a little bit of a leaf here happening. So see, that's sort of fun, isn't it? Maybe just a little bit of one right here. So this should have let your jar dry. You want to check to see if your paint's dry. If it's dry, rinse out your brush. And here's how you make it look like the stems are inside the jar. I'm going to dry off my brush with a rag. I'm going to come and get some white paint again on my dry brush. I'm going to come right here, and on the smile line, I'm going to go right over these green stems. And there they are, in the jar. Now I'm going to grab a little more white, and I'm going to bring a couple reflections down. 1, 2, right here. You can come right across here with a reflection. Maybe there's a reflection right here. Right. I like to say that there's another little shoulder reflection that happens. So I go stroke down, another little stroke down, and then a soft dry brush stroke across. And then another little couple of dry brush strokes to show that this glass is here. So this is about doing dry brushing over this, and that's what helps you really define that really easy glass. You're not actually ever painting glass, you're painting the reflections that end up on glass. Okay, so that's perfect. You have stems in a jar. That was so fun, wasn't that? So another little trick that I do is I like to kind of sketch in a light shape before I Q-tip in my flowers. So one of the goals is I will come here and I just want to make sure that I very softly create the little cone shape I'm going to be following for my flowers. I want them to be wider at the bottom. That one's like 3 fingers wide. And then come taper different places up here to the top, right? There we go. Just so I know what my flowers are doing. Right? And that's how I get that in. Now grab your first bunch of Q-tips, take a deep breath. This is the fun part. So I have a bunch here. I've made sure that they're very level. I don't get a lot of hairs on my Q-tips because I use Q-tips. And I think that's why my little dots are always coming out really well. So I'm going to dab a little bit into my purple, and then I'm going to dab a little bit into my bright magenta pink there, and get a little bit of white right there. I'm going to come put in the shadow. So I've got the light coming from up here, and all I've got to do is this little shadow at the bottom. If you need more purple, get more purple. I get just a smidge. The trick here is to just get a smidge of light, not a lot, because it'll over lighten and you want your lilacs to have the shadow. When I'm coming to the edge, I actually rock my Q-tips back a little bit to get less dots. But you can also switch to using, and I'll show you, some individual Q-tip. Right? to get that delicate finish anywhere you need it. Or if you need detailing into the flower to make it feel more special. When I have hairs like that, I can also just roll them like this. I'm going to get a little more of my purple, a little more of my pink, a smidge of my white, and come and make the shadow again. Around the base. More pink this time, I think. A little white. So I just try to think about mixing these colors up because these flowers have so many lovely colors in them. And I have lots of bunches here, so if this bunch weren't making me happy, I can always get another bunch of Q-tips. There we go. You can see I'm rocking it back to just a couple of my Q-tips. I come out to this edge here. I also like to bring out little interesting shapes. More red. Some of the white. There we go. Just enjoying that. Just reshaping them. So that's something you might not know, is you can reshape this tool. Super fun, just stamping it down, making sure I've got my shadow right there. A little more purple, a little more magenta, a little bit of white right there. Now I'm going to come put the shadow, interestingly enough, on that side, on the left side. Listen, if you mess that up, don't worry about it. It's just painting. Just painting. You can do it. You can totally do it. You're just wonderful and you've got this. Art can be fun again. Alright, let's just dab those up to the top. A little bit of outliers here being interesting. Let's get the tops. So I'm going to grab another little bunch right here. And now I'm going to get mostly into my white, but I'll let it pick up some of the color that I have. Maybe a dab of pink this time. See? I'm going to come create this highlight. Lots of white on this side. I really like to let these particular dots be a little more open because it makes it feel like there's just a little bit of light catching it. Oh, such a pretty piece. Just on using just almost these two when I come to the end, but you can switch to your individual Q-tip, right? Where you make little dots. See? So feel like you've got that. I'm going to get a little pink on one of them. There we go. Just enjoying the color. Sometimes what's underneath comes and mixes up. I also sometimes turn my bundle to change up my shapes. We're almost done with this gorgeous painting. Look gorgeous in a frame. Hope you'll share it with me online. Alright, there we go. Oh, I've got some pretty pink there, so I'm going to just dab that out. Sometimes you'll notice that you have some really pretty color and you want to go with it. Definitely trust your gut. Something makes your heart happy. Always listen to that. More white. There we go. The little light sketching I did really helps me keep track of the shapes that I want in my painting. Get some red here because I feel like it could use some bright pink right there. You can always just add color where you think the piece would be improved by it. That's where I think it would be improved. Getting some hairs. So what I can do is if it's getting too much, I can always switch to another bundle. And that's why I like to have lots of little bundles here. If a bundle starts to do anything I'm not loving, just switch bundles. Just add the highlight right here. Like to bring some in different places. Make little highlights. Let's get some pink to finish that out. There we go. Just enjoy. And if you feel like you lost your shadow at any point, remember you can just actually come right back with your purple and put it back anywhere you think you want it. And guess what, guys? I think I just grabbed some magenta there. I'm just having fun. You have fun too. And switch sides of the Q-tips. There you go. Oh, it's just pretty. That was so much fun. I'm so happy to have shared that with you today. I hope you're happy with your result. Be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and I'm going to see you at the easel really soon. Bye-bye.